Good morning or afternoon or wherever you're at. Good day to you. Let's just say good day. Now, today I am working on the table again. Always working on the table. Yesterday we had some issues finding parts. We went out, we found those parts, and now we're back at it again. I glued down, or here, let me show you here. So we glued down all the bottom part where this is where, let me just lay this down. There we go. It looks beautiful, beautiful. It's upside down. But anyhow, this gives you an idea. This is where the switch is going to be on the other side. So we'll have that drilled out, and then we'll have the wires come up here. Back here is where we're going to have the power source, and then there is where we're going to put the hole for the platter. And of course the armboard is going to be over here. This looks really nice. And that $5 can was nothing wrong with it. Mind you, I should have read the instructions first on how to use contact cement. I smeared it on first and then slapped it right on, and it wouldn't stick. And I sit on the thing and said 15 minutes. I'm like, oh well, it's been 15 minutes, should be stuck by now. They meant 15 minutes for it to tack off. So anyhow, I had to do that over twice. But that is that, and we got their feet on nice. Loving it. Now we're moving on to the arm board. So I decided to take apart the other arm board. Here is the new arm board that's going to be. One of the most important things, we got a little pilot hole here. This is very small. It will be bigger. This is where you're going to have one of these. But the most important part is to measure to make sure that you got roughly within a millimeter or two. 222 millimeters for a 9-inch arm, and that's what we verified. And that allows us to, I can move this in and out a little bit for fine tuning and adjustments like the other board. And we have the holes lined up and some cross references, and that's getting ready there. And here's the hardware we picked up. Now the hardware is, I'm not promoting Home Depot or anything like that. It just so happened that is the only place where I live that I could find these parts. So you have to go where you need to get the parts. Now I believe that these are 100% brass. They are different than my other ones. You can see the size, quite a bit of size difference, but you can see the pitting that's happening on this. I think this is actually coated, and so I'm actually glad I did not find those, and that was by mistake. These looked like what I was looking for, but when I got home and I did a comparison, I found out that they are not the same, but I'm okay with that. And these here are, you see here, I was looking for some of those. I could not find any. I might find some eventually before I actually get to it, but I found these. This was a little bit harder, would be harder to use because you got to pound them in, versus these ones here you just take a screwdriver and jam it into it and just screw it in, and they look cleaner too than something beat it in. But I'm going to be using these right in here. So you put two of them in there, and then you got your threaded rod that would come up through the bottom, and with your slider, and then these, and then that will slide this board back and forth. Now, I took apart the other board. This was the one that I had polished aluminum, what I'm using with. So we took the arm off. The arm's over here just sitting. You can see that it carefully moving around. There's nothing to it. It's just, friction fitted with, you can see there that the bolts jamming into the side of it, versus a traditional one that you can, I heard, convert them and put the pin on this. But this one here, the wires will go through your board onto a circuit board or right into RCA adapters, plugs. But we're not using that. We're using that one over there. So taking this apart was kind of interesting, because it's been 5 years since I built it, and all you could see was the outside of it, so you don't really see what's on the inside of it. So I took those off, and surprisingly, it surprised me, I forgot that I put that in there. But the reason I put this in, this is a neoprene something I repurposed. The idea was to take the vibrations from the board, the plinth, or the motor, or whatever. You're trying to isolate each component so it doesn't get transferred into your stylus or your arm. So I had this in there, which I'll put that back in. And here you can see what I was talking about, those again, which is really cool because you just screw them in, and that held it in there. Now when I looked on the bottom, let's get these off. It's always something when you take something apart and you forget how it was all put together. Now on the side of this, see if I can get in the proper light here. You can see there's a spot and a spot there. So in there you loosen those off, and that's how you take the arm. The arm just slides right out. Now the question was, well, how did I have this mounted onto this? I can't remember. Is it just friction? So upon taking it apart, I quickly realized, man, that's pretty deep in there. And the reason it was deep in there because I used those. Okay, I could have used flat ones and got them in there a little bit better than that, but that's what we used. So today I'm going to be making this arm board and transferring this arm over. This itself will have nothing on it. It will go back onto the table. It'll be like a blank table just waiting for another arm to be put on. The motor and stuff, I'm not going to tear the motor apart, obviously. The motor's going to stay the way it is. It's just different boards, you can change the arms out. So this will be just no different than any other turntable that you bought that the owner said, no, I'm going to keep my $10,000 arm. I like to see a $10,000 arm. I heard people having those, but you know, it'd be no different than them taking the arm off and they sold it, or they upgraded it, or what have you. So this will go back onto that table, polish up, make it look good until I can find another arm for it. In the meantime, I'm taking this arm off and using it for this board because I'm really interested in this board right now. So that's what's happening with this. So today we're going to be grooving this out, setting it up. Most likely only get the arm board done today. Once that is all cut out, and then I will stain it. That's something I did different. I'm going to do different than this. Okay, it's a constant battle of me trying to keep this thing clean because I stained it, I buffed it, I polished it, and made it look all pretty. And now I'm playing with it and still building, and that's kind of a no. So I kind of wish I didn't do that, but it just makes things a little bit more challenging. Anyhow, I'll let you go. I'm going to get to doing that, and we'll see you in the next video when this is done. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, folks.